Welcome to part 3, the last part. Please like and subscribe. Chapter 5, Torn Between Two Worlds. Alexander Sinclair stood amidst the glittering chandeliers and opulent decor of his family's lavish penthouse, sipping a glass of vintage champagne. All around him, the city's elite socialites mingled, their laughter and chatter filling the air. Yet, despite the grandeur that surrounded him, Alexander felt a growing sense of unease. As he scanned the room, his gaze kept drifting towards the large windows, where the twinkling lights of the city skyline beckoned. His mind wandered to the simple, vibrant world of the street market and the warmth of Clara's smile. The contrast between this gilded cage and the authentic joy he had found with her was becoming increasingly stark. Excusing himself from a conversation about the latest corporate merger, Alexander found a quiet corner to collect his thoughts. He had never felt so out of place in his own home, his privileged upbringing now seeming like a burden rather than a blessing. Closing his eyes, he pictured Clara tending to her flower stall, her gentle hands caressing the delicate petals. The memory of their conversations, filled with her dreams and aspirations, stirred a longing within him. How could he reconcile the life he had always known with the one he now craved? "Alexander, darling, there you are." His mother's voice cut through his reverie, and he opened his eyes to see her approaching with a concerned expression. "I've been looking all over for you. You're missing the opportunity to network with some of the city's most influential people." Alexander forced a polite smile, but his heart sank. "Mother, I'm afraid I'm not feeling my best. Perhaps I could be excused early?" His mother's brow furrowed. "Nonsense, you can't leave now. Your father and I have arranged for you to meet with the Wilsons. They have a daughter your age, and you know how important it is for you to make the right connections." Inwardly, Alexander cringed at the thought of being paraded in front of potential marriage prospects. The idea of being expected to settle for a life of wealth and status, rather than one filled with genuine love and fulfillment, weighed heavily on him. "Mother, I appreciate your concern, but I'm simply not in the mood for socializing tonight," he said, his voice tinged with a rare firmness. His mother's eyes narrowed, and she placed a manicured hand on his arm. "Alexander, you know how important it is for you to uphold the family name. This is your future we're talking about. You can't afford to jeopardize it for some passing fancy." The words stung, and Alexander felt a surge of frustration. "This is not some passing fancy, Mother. I'm trying to find my own path in life, one that brings me true happiness." "Happiness?" His mother scoffed. "Happiness is a luxury we cannot afford. Our family's legacy and reputation are at stake. You have a responsibility to this family, Alexander, and I won't let you throw it all away for some flower girl." The mention of Clara stung, and Alexander's resolve hardened. "Mother, I'm sorry, but I can't continue living a life that feels so empty and meaningless to me. There's more to happiness than wealth and status." His mother's eyes widened, and she opened her mouth to protest, but Alexander held up a hand. "I need some time to think. Please, just let me be for now." Without waiting for a response, he turned and made his way through the crowd, ignoring the concerned glances of his family's guests. As he reached the elevator, he felt a newfound determination. He had to find Clara, to explain his feelings and figure out a way to reconcile the two worlds that were pulling him in opposite directions. The ride down to the street level felt interminable, and as the doors opened, Alexander stepped out into the cool night air. He took a deep breath, his mind racing with the implications of his decision. Would Clara even want to be with him, knowing the weight of his family's expectations? Could he truly turn his back on the life he had always known? Uncertainty gripped him, but the memory of Clara's warmth and understanding gave him the courage to forge ahead. He hailed a cab and gave the driver the address of the street market, his heart pounding with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. As the cab wove through the bustling city streets, Alexander gazed out the window, his mind consumed by the dilemma he faced. He knew that choosing Clara would mean defying his family's wishes, potentially jeopardizing his inheritance and the privileged life he had always known. But the thought of losing her, of returning to the hollow existence he had grown so weary of, was unbearable. The cab pulled up to the familiar street market, and Alexander stepped out, his eyes scanning the stalls for any sign of Clara. The vibrant colors and lively atmosphere were a stark contrast to the sterile opulence of the penthouse, and Alexander felt a sense of relief wash over him. He moved with purpose, his gaze finally landing on Clara's flower stall. His heart leapt when he saw her, her delicate features illuminated by the warm glow of the market lights. Taking a deep breath, he approached her, his mind racing with the words he needed to say. As Clara looked up and met his eyes, Alexander knew in that moment that he had made his choice. No amount of wealth or status could replace the connection he felt with this extraordinary woman. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he was determined to fight for their love, no matter the cost. Chapter 6, Love Conquers All. Rain pattered against the glass windows of Alexander Sinclair's penthouse, reflecting the turmoil within his heart. He had spent the past few days in a daze, haunted by Clara's parting words, her letter etched in his mind. My dearest Alexander, I must let you go. Our worlds are too far apart, and I cannot bear the thought of you sacrificing your future for me. You deserve a life of luxury and status, not the simple existence I can offer. Please, forget about me and find happiness in the life that was meant for you. The words had pierced his soul, shattering the resolve he had built up over the past weeks. How could he simply forget the woman who had awakened his heart and shown him the true meaning of joy? Clara's warmth, her resilience, her unwavering spirit, they had become the very essence of his being. Alexander paced the lavish confines of his apartment, his fingers trembling as he reread the letter one more time. He had to find her, to convince her that their love was worth fighting for, no matter the cost. Tossing the letter aside, he grabbed his coat and rushed out into the rainy streets, determined to reach the vibrant street market where he had first encountered Clara. The bustling marketplace was alive with the sights and sounds of the city, but Alexander's eyes were focused solely on the familiar flower stall. His heart raced as he approached, desperate to see Clara's face, to hear her voice, to hold her in his arms once more. And there she was, her delicate features framed by the soft glow of the market lights, her fingers gently caressing the petals of the blooms before her. Alexander's breath caught in his throat as he drank in the sight of her, the woman who had become his entire world. Slowly, he made his way through the crowd, his eyes locked on Clara's, willing her to sense his presence. As he drew closer, she looked up, her eyes widening in surprise and a flicker of hope. Alexander? Clara's voice was barely above a whisper, her hands trembling slightly. Alexander closed the distance between them, his gaze intense, his heart pounding. Clara, I couldn't stay away. I couldn't let you go. He reached out, his fingers gently brushing against hers. I love you, Clara. More than anything in this world. Tears welled in Clara's eyes as she searched his face, her own heart torn between the desire to surrender to his words and the fear of the consequences. But, Alexander, our lives, they're so different. How can we possibly make this work? I don't care about the differences, Alexander declared, his voice firm yet filled with emotion. All I know is that I've never felt more alive than when I'm with you. This, he gestured to the bustling market around them, this is where I belong, Clara. Not in the cold, empty halls of my family's mansion, but here, with you. Clara's lips parted, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. But what about your family? Your future? I can't ask you to give all that up for me. Alexander stepped closer, his hands gently cupping her face. You're not asking, Clara. I'm choosing you, because you are the only future I want. He leaned in, his forehead resting against hers. Please, say you'll be with me. Say you'll let me fight for us. The rain continued to fall, the droplets glistening on their skin as they stood there, suspended in the moment. Clara's heart raced, her mind a whirlwind of emotions. Could she truly believe that Alexander was willing to sacrifice everything for their love? Slowly, Clara's hands came to rest on Alexander's chest, her fingers gripping the fabric of his shirt. I don't know what to say, she whispered, her voice trembling. This is all I've ever wanted, but I'm so afraid of what it might cost you. Alexander's eyes burned with determination. The only thing it will cost me is a life without you. And that is a price I'm not willing to pay. He brushed a stray tear from her cheek, his touch feather-light. Let me show you, Clara. Let me prove to you that our love is worth fighting for. The rain intensified, the patter of droplets creating a soothing rhythm around them. Clara's gaze searched Alexander's, her heart torn between her dreams and the fear of the unknown. But in the depths of his eyes, she saw a resolve that transcended the barriers of their worlds. Slowly, Clara nodded, her lips curving into a tremulous smile. All right, Alexander. I'll give us a chance. A wave of relief and joy washed over Alexander's features, and he pulled Clara into a passionate embrace, their bodies fitting together as if they were always meant to be. The rain continued to fall, but in that moment, nothing else mattered, only the two of them, their love conquering the divide that had once kept them apart. As they held each other, Alexander knew that the path ahead would not be an easy one. There would be challenges, obstacles, and battles to be fought, both within his own family and the societal expectations that had confined him for so long. But with Clara by his side, he was ready to face them all, his heart filled with a determination that could not be shaken. In the bustling street market, amidst the vibrant colors and the scent of freshly cut flowers, Alexander and Clara stood as a testament to the power of love, a love that had the strength to bridge the divide between their worlds and forge a future where their hearts could truly soar. Thanks for watching. Please show some love.